What's up, everybody? Title Tuesday about to begin. March edition. I'm just getting ready to start the show. 1 minute until round one. There's for those people who are new to this, it happens once a month, first Tuesday. Used to be two times a month. One early edition, one late edition. They've combined it into one stronger event with a larger prize fund. So if you want to play this tournament, this is the only chance until April. Right now, Hikaru Nakamura, one of the top blitz players in the world, is the top seed. Let me turn off the music. That was just to get everyone pumped up. But yeah, we got they've changed. Did you know that, Amon? They changed the oh wow, 11 rounds. 11 rounds of blitz. It used to be 9 rounds. I think this is the first time they are doing this.
Yeah.
And let's begin. So okay, I didn't actually know that. So now it's 11 rounds, which means this tournament is going to be longer than normal, and that's good for the spectators. So following top seed Naka, playing his Nimzowicz Larson stuff. First move B3, just try to get out of theory and shuffle pieces essentially, and wear his opponents down. Some other favorites: Gorg Meyer, Eduardo Torrezega, Venezuelan #1. You got quite a few strong players: Igor Kovalenko, Benjamin Bach, who I was just hanging out with a few days ago, or yesterday actually. Okay, so we're going to follow this first game though. We got GM from Romania playing black. Based on that name, I'm guessing that's Lupulescu. Board 2 actually is an IM from Russia who's a very good blitz player, Karanka. He plays a lot on chess.com. So if you're on the interface and you like to watch top games, you've probably encountered him. And he's playing black here using the modern. Modern is also a popular choice in blitz because it is kind of flexible. You can change up the move orders and maybe avoid some theory, and okay, you might have a worse position, but in blitz it's more about having a lot of options and not being stuck, I guess, in an uncomfortable situation. And one of those, for example, let's say your opponent gets you in their theory. So very, very decent blitz opening. What happened here? P5, Queen D, Knight D7, H4. Let's fast forward. Oh, Queen F2 looked necessary. Just blunders a pawn. Some compensation with the open H file and the weak D6 pawn. I expect white to queenside castle, but that is a pawn and dark sword bishops have been traded off, which should help black based on the pawn structure. Somebody just told me I wasn't live. Can you guys confirm you can hear me?
You're live to me. You're live to me.
Okay, I am live. Okay. I think I just read in the comments this is a record turnout for Title Tuesday. I'm going to check up on what number that is, but that's good news. For the next month, there's going to be 4 Title Tuesdays, I believe, because chess.com is holding the Speed Chess Championships, which is the new name. It was last year's Blitz Battles. And 3 or 4 spots are available. I think 4 spots to the winners of the 4 Title Tuesdays, which take place in April. So those are going to be really strong because I think everyone wants to play in that tournament. Magnus is playing, Naka's playing, Fabiano, all the top players. Big prize fund, death match, good format. So Title Tuesday is going to be a fixture here, and I think more and more strong grandmasters seem to be flocking towards the tournament. After all, it's on a Tuesday. It doesn't conflict with most chess tournaments, which happen on weekends. So if I wasn't commentating, I'd be playing. And Naka here, as I say, he likes to wear his opponents down. This position is kind of okay for black, but the time situation isn't. He's down a minute 40. White still has more space. Maybe a little bit of a better pawn structure because of that a5 pawn island, but at the same time, White can't really get past the fourth rank. It seems he's going to have to. He's going to have to break through the position, but as a good blitz player, Naka's going to take his time to break through and try to let his opponent make some holes for him. For example, e5. Just now d6 is weak, and knight a4 was a threat there to soften up that pawn. So now Naka has a target, the d6 pawn. That's probably the easiest thing. Okay, now knight h4, knight f5. It doesn't really matter what moves happen on the board. The time situation is really the biggest advantage here. I mean, there's 2 second increment, but if you think about it, 2 seconds means you spend about 1 second to make the move, and so you gain about a second. You're not going to build up a big time bank with 2 second increment, unless you're a pretty good bullet player. Ooh, tactics. Knight f5. Look at that. Queen g7, unstoppable. A very nice finish by Naka. I expect resignation here. Queen g7, you can't stop. It's either going to pick up the knight on h7 or checkmate. So bishop d7, queen g7, king e8. And you can take the knight or you can take on d6. Lots of options here. Oh, that's actually, you're going to win the queen. Knight takes d6. Wins the queen because queen takes f7 is mate, so you got to sacrifice the queen. Instead, he allows the checkmate. But a very easy win for Naka, who just used his time advantage, waited for his opponent to make a mistake, and very nicely finished him off with this thematic sacrifice. The queen out of play. Bishop takes h5. Sacrificing to gain the f5 square, and there's absolutely no way to stop the queen from penetrating and reaching g7. And notice that all these pieces are on the back rank. That really stops the king from escaping. King is blocked by its own pieces. So a very, very smooth win by Naka. Let's move on to board 2. And this is, black is just up a full rook there. But we have plenty of other games to check on. Some fan favorites who are playing, I believe Simon Williams is playing. My roommate here, Amon Hambleton, is playing, who often commentates. So let's move on to Gorg Meyer's game. I think he's won quite a few Title Tuesdays. Very acclimated towards his tournament. And here he is with the bishop against knight in an endgame. And usually the bishops are better, especially when there's pawns on both sides of the board where they can reach, both sides. Whereas the knight usually is committed or passive, focused, can only really handle one area. Another big key in this position is white also has the outside pass pawn. So any pawn endgame is going to be very favorable for white. And I think b6 here wins on the spot. Unless I'm missing something. This also looks good. I'm missing something. Am I? I guess maybe everything wins, but he found a pretty nice way. Sacrificing the bishop and 2 connected pass pawns beats pretty much every piece on the board usually. Unless there's support. So far the favorites are cashing in. It's 11 rounds now. It's going to change kind of the way I maybe even talk about some of it. Usually the winning score might be 7.5 or 8. So we'll see what that means. There's a lot more players than normal. In some previous tournaments, sometimes the leaders would be so far ahead of the field they would play players with maybe a point less in the final round or so. So sometimes you would get pairings, you'd get undesirable pairings in the final round. But here, there are a lot of players and a lot more grandmasters than normal. So that probably won't be an issue. White's idea here is probably to play f5 and get an outside pass pawn. Try to imbalance the structure. He's got a time edge as well. Might consider bringing the knight back to c3, back to d5. Black just spent 30 seconds on that, or you can't do that. This time advantage. F5 is going to prepare for F5. Watch this. F5. Outside pass pawn. There you go. There's the breakthrough. And either way, he's getting that outside pass pawn. He can take and play g4, and he's going to have the h pawn running down the board. Also, knight d5 is an option here. But this, despite the material equality, looks very promising for white. He's got a big space advantage. Taking a bit too much time, in my opinion. You don't need to you don't even need to win the game on the spot here. You just need to keep pressuring your opponent's clock. But he's done a nice thing. He hasn't touched this pawn. He's restricting the g5 square. He's probably going to try to trade off light squared bishops, and his knight could then be unchallenged on d5. And that's what he's done. He's going to trade off light squared bishops, park a knight on d5. And all the pawn endgames are going to be pretty promising. Ooh, king g6, and game over. Very nice game by Darius Schwertz, student at St. Louis University. Also, I think a player on the St. Louis Archbishops. They're in the playoffs in the Pro Chess League playing tomorrow. So actually, some players here might be preparing for the Pro Chess League, getting some speed chess action in before the big playoffs tomorrow. Which I'll be playing in. If I wasn't commentating, I would be playing in this event, because tomorrow the chessbrahs are playing against the Montclair Sopranos. Round is about to wrap up, and I don't have my usual setup. Some people may notice it looks a bit different. I am in a hotel room, so means I'm in a different time zone. I'm in Sweden right now. It's about 10 o'clock here, but even though it's 10 o'clock, I'm still gonna have an energy drink. 227 players apparently in this title Tuesday. That is definitely a record. Keep in mind, last month Magnus played, Fabiano played, Wesley played. So not only are they getting stronger, they're getting deeper, and I think that's great, because I'm a lot more lazier than I used to be. I don't travel as much, or I'm getting sick of traveling. So being able to play an intense chess tournament at home is a luxury I'd like to be able to do more often. Queen Queen f5, and he wants to play queen. Okay, he's gonna have to slowly usher the pawn down the board. The queen on h8 doesn't do a good job, so this is why this is a very good endgame. Queen f3 wins the game. Queen f3. Oh. That king pawn endgame is winning. Yes, that's okay. Resignation. Queen a8. Now you do queen f3, and now for sure the pawn queens. So one of those cases where as long as you have the extra pawn and your king is in front of the pawn, you got great chances to convert. So round one, most of the favorites went through, and let's begin. So board one, Elshan Moradiabadi, GM residing in the United States from Iran, playing Naka. I'm gonna check up on the chat occasionally. I just don't have 10 screens like I normally do, so you'll have to bear with me there in terms of questions. But I will get to it at some point. Gadakamsky is playing. I did not know that. That's very cool. Former World Championship contender. And we're watching this game from White's point of view. Who's the underdog? Because I think he's quite a dangerous blitz player. And let's. I think we all want to believe that we can beat Naka. So by using his perspective, maybe that'll be a treat. But I expect he's going to take on c6 here, and maybe play a4. That looks a bit equal though, the pawn structure. The problem with playing a4 and reinforcing the b5 pawn is maybe c5, and it's a bit of a weird structure. But black gets a pretty nice pawn center. Anyways, not a very ambitious opening by white. The good thing is he's playing quick enough so far. As long as he's within, let's say, 30 seconds on the clock, I think that's okay. But no edge here. No reason to have an edge. Black's got a great bishop on f5. All his other pieces are developed and coordinated. Compact pawn structure. No reason to favor white in this structure. I'd probably favor black. Nice thing about Scandinavia is they have this energy drink called Burn. We don't have that in North America. It's pretty tasty. Tastes better than Red Bull. Well, this pawn structure resembles an opening. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'm so bad at opening names, but you could definitely say just double-edged. Who's gonna arrive first? I'm guessing it's a bit easier to push black's position because his pieces are centralized. White will need to place a few more pieces on the queen side to really properly leverage those pawns into the initiative. Whereas black, yeah, he's already trying to bail out, I guess, because he doesn't like the race. Black gets too much time and too many tempi getting those moves like d4 and e4 in. White's like, okay, I don't want to risk that. I like this decision right here. He's got the outside pass pawn. He's chipped away at the center, and Hikaru's very dangerous in tactical positions, and there are far fewer possibilities now. Just with two pawns straight off already, position's a lot easier to grasp. So I like the decision by Alshan over here. Hey, Numeroid. Thing is here, white's not pushing that a-pawn too quickly because usually outside pass pawns get stronger later on, especially, for example, when the kings come in and it's more of a race. Here, it might be pretty weak. It can't really past a certain point, most likely. Especially with queens on the board, you gotta watch out for maybe black developing an initiative on the king side. And that is already happening. Bishop e4. I'm expecting maybe queen jumping to g6, threatening the mate here, trying to poke some holes in the position. Maybe bishop f6 over here. But we got a protected pass pawn versus an outside pass pawn. Probably going to favor the protected pass pawn, especially as because it restricts the slide squared bishop on e2. But most importantly, Hikaru's built up a 1 minute time advantage, and his position is only getting better. So the momentum is clearly on his side over here. And now white finally makes the jump, pushes that pawn. I'm sure he's the one unfortunate. Okay, I was just about to say the bishop doesn't support the pawn going to e6, but now that Hikaru pushed c3, the pawn can safely reach a6, and rook b2. Looks like that's game over. That's a double attack on the queen and the bishop, and the queen can't reach the c4 square, which is the only square that white could use to protect the bishop. So a resignation, but you saw how quickly that went downhill. Time, space, position, and Hikaru Nakamura moves to 2-2. Let's check on Mr. Gorgmeyer over here, playing I am from the US. Not sure who he is, but his position is okay here. This looks fairly balanced. White's got the double G pawns, but at the same time they restrict black. Queenside is locked in. Pretty balanced, but now that I heard Kamsky's playing on Draken as well, is that the case on Draken? Quite a few players. Let's check on that. You know what? We're gonna move over. Ooh, I was just about to move over to Ginger GM's game, but looks like he goes down quickly against Alexander Shemanov, a player from St. Louis as well, studying at Webster. So he's playing on the Webster Windmills. Both St. Louis teams made it to the playoffs in the Pro Chess League. Got a ton of 2600 young grandmasters. Okay, there aren't too many Brazilian GMs playing on chess.com yet, so let's check on this one. Alexander Fier from Brazil playing here. He is up a pawn. His king is a bit exposed. Both kings are exposed. He's playing Yuneski Quesada from Cuba, also on the Miami Champions team in the Pro Chess League. And, well, white's up a pawn. He's up 40 seconds, and this would be a minor upset based on blitz ratings on chess.com, but I'm not sure how accurate Fier's rating is. I'm not sure how much he plays. Also, I'm not sure where he plays. When I met him, he was playing on a tablet, I think. And I get flagged pretty easily on a tablet, so my rating can be 100 or 200 points lower rated if I play a long session on a tablet. Ooh, a queen trade, okay. Let's see this conversion. 7th rank, up a pawn, big time edge. These are the sorts of positions you gotta convert as a blitz player. I'm expecting knight g5 and f6, trying to create a mating net where black can get mated on the back rank. He was also threatening knight f6 and rook h7 mate. Okay, good move so far by black, surviving, and now the time edge is dissipating. Knight g5 check and f7. Ooh, check. f7. Oh, that king is getting pretty active, actually. Problem is, the pawn on f7 is going to be protected always. That knight on g5 is on a very comfortable outpost. Yes. Knight f3. Game over. Knight f3 is game over. Once again, knight f3. Pinning the knight. Okay, he's going for f8 as well. Both moves work. Fier is going to take this one. Well, with 227 players, actually, the list is going to go on and on players who have, let's say, perfect score after 2 rounds. So I'm going to try to find new players. Is Benjamin Bach playing? Benjamin Bach is playing. Let's follow his game right now, actually. There he is. He is playing black here. He looks to be lost against a Bulgarian FM by the name of Morphe 1984. 3 pawns against the knight. But you got 1 outside pass pawn, keeping the knight honest on f7, and then you have a king and 2 pawns against a king on the other side of the board. So in practical terms, white is playing up 2 pawns. And that should 2 connected pawns. That should be a textbook win. He's going to go for the knight. Okay, he's going to Now he's gonna chase the knight, isn't he? Yeah. King e6. No, king e6 blunders the pawn. Awful move, Eric. King e6 would run into knight g5. Only move to not play. But instead, yeah, he's just gonna play on the queen side. Push, push, push. a7 and king c7 is gonna actually be a checkmate. Knight d8. Knight d8, mate. Yeah, knight d8 stalemate. Yes, yes. Good move, Benjamin. Good trick. Opponent doesn't fall for it, and a resignation. But I do like that, you know, don't resign. He still was resourceful. In case his opponent was sure he was winning, he could have slipped up there with queen, and that is stalemate. So I do like that last trick. But Buck goes down, the Dutch representative. Let's check on Blitzstream, popular French streamer here on chess.com. He's playing Igor Kovalyenko, and he's going down here. Just, yeah, he's... Check, check. Yeah. So far after 2 rounds, a lot of the favorites have moved to 2-2. Genghis K from Argentina, Nakamura, Meyer, Schwertz, Kovalyenko, Gadakamsky. His username is GK Chess Tiger. Christian Kirilla, Robert Hess. There are how many players on 2-2? 40 something? 45 players, so actually ooh. I didn't know she was playing. Cécile Hauserno from France is playing. She's on 2-2. I see like a sea of GMs, and then I see WFM 2-2 doing very well. But she is a good blitz player from what I remember. Interesting. Interesting. Any other names here? Young German Grandmaster Rasmus Svani. I don't recognize his name on the website too much, so maybe he's starting to play here as well. Okay, so still round 2. There's a couple of games left. I'll check on this one. We got Yakov, fan favorite, playing a drawn rook endgame over here. Both guys have a lot of time, so this might go for a while, even though it is drawn. Easily drawn. How is this endgame? Well, the problem is black is down a pawn, white's got ugly pawns, but all of black's pawns are on the white square, so I think at some point you're going to give up your d3 pawn, and you're going to win the b3 pawn. Oh, you don't even need to give up the d3 pawn here. But yeah, you can just win. You should be able to pick off the pawns. If you can get the king to c5 or e5. So king b6? Or... yeah. This is over. This is winning. You're going to push the pawn to b6. King's going to have to go to b7, and then you bring the king to c5. So bishop e6, b6, bring the king to c5, and then it's game over. Okay, well now you give up a second pawn, and now the king anyways will run to c5. Yeah. Good technique by Chadayev here. actually surprised that black is playing on here just because this is hopeless. I don't even see any tries, any stale matrix. Maybe there's somewhere. Final game of the round. I think we started with 227 players. We are left with 213. So 14 people have been eliminated or withdrawn. Rage quit. 14 rage quitters. I'm often a rage quitter myself. Not in chess too much though. Usually tell students and whatnot, you gotta work. You start off bad. You can get into a bad habit, withdrawing and just trying again. It takes it's good mental fortitude and good practice to work your way back up, even if you don't have a chance for first. But okay, when you're playing on the computer, it's it's not the same as intense classical tournaments. I had to look far and wide, but I found Lawrence Trent in the standings. He actually lost round 1, so it was really hard for me to find him. He was in 200th place, but it looks like he's rebounded. And so if you want to follow Lawrence and his chess struggles, he's in this event as well. I was able to spot him. He's trying to hide, do the Swiss Gambit, dirty Swiss Gambit. Doesn't surprise me. And I think we're going to have a pretty good matchup. Board 1 here, round 3, Fear against Nakamura. Both pretty exciting players when they're feeling inclined. And already, Hikaru pushing the A-pawn. What does Simon call the A-pawn? I only know Harry or Freddie or Gary. I don't know, yeah. Alex? No. Alex is... Oh, that's my ex. Oh, never. I don't know what A is. I'll let other people pick the A pawn. I know too many people with the first name A. But looking okay for black. Hikaru's playing pretty quickly, but from what I can tell, I mean, black's got a great bishop on G7, good development. Yeah, the A7. This looks double-edged. I mean, black has this idea. He's gonna play F5, maybe H6, G5, and he's gonna use his space advantage over there. Like, okay, he plays knight D8, knight E6. Not a bad plan, but double-edged here. Naka's position is not so great. Airy. Okay. Well, I don't have the accent, so I'll sound like a buffoon, probably. So B4, maybe. Oh, this is getting sharp. This is getting sharp. And Fier is playing quick. He's a quick player. Plays very fast, no matter what time control is. This is getting interesting. But the problem is, knight takes C5 ran into bishop A3, and that's a pretty unstoppable pin. So now Hikaru, I think, is going to be up a pawn. His queen can. Well, go to C4, right? Is he going to go to... Yeah, he does. And he's going to play B4, and he's going to have a very nice structure over here. Now, this looks very good for Hikaru. He took that pawn, and his calculation was on point. And he's taking another pawn, and he's up 2 pawns here. Just going to... I think he's going to convert this one. Okay, it started out promising, but now Naka, back in his element, just needs to show a bit of technique. He's up a pawn. It's not absolutely winning because you got a bishop against a knight here, and you don't pawn up. There's quite a few endgames here where black might be able to hold, but the danger in the position is over. So only 2 results here, barring a disconnect or a mouse slip. Let's check on another game. Let's check on Gawain Jones against Darius Schwartz. I believe these guys played in Millionaire Chess this past year, and it was pretty exciting. So wouldn't be surprised to see something sharp again. Gawain Jones recently won Tata Steel B, tournament I played in, beat me on his way to victory. And I think he's around the career high right now, in the 2670s range. So he's doing pretty well. Here he is. Schwartz decides to sacrifice. That's going to be, well, it's a temporary sacrifice. After knight takes b2, you take on a6, and this bishop on b7 is trapped. So white will come out ahead when he regains that piece. Otherwise, I think the key move is just recapturing on b5. But the time difference here, a minute up for Gawain Jones here. Knight b3. Yep. Protecting the bishop with the queen on e2. That knight also might jump to a5 in some lines. Okay, the problem for black is the b5 pawn. Otherwise, he's doing fine. Because he's got the bishop pair. He has a natural square maybe on b6 for the bishop, but b5 looks like a thorn in the position. And because of that, I like white's position. I don't think black can consolidate and hold on to that pawn forever. Bishop takes b5, and his idea for black is going to play knight f6 and knight g4. So he's putting the bishop on the best square possible, putting some pressure here. And now the question is, do you take this pawn or do you wait? Because it can't be protected next move. So black is counting on that for some active counterplay, but white doesn't have to do it. Okay, knight f6 coming up next. And now the knight is not only threatening e4, but it might also go to g4, which is a pretty annoying diagonal, I must say. That's why I didn't want to take right away. I thought, okay, based on knight f6 coming, maybe you should wait, but I didn't see an easy move for white, an easy waiting move. Knight g4. How does this variation go? Am I missing something here? You have to play rook f1? Okay. The problem with rook f1 is this knight is really annoying. If you play h3, I bring my knight back, and I'm going to bring my knight to h5 and f4 and continue pounding on the dark squares. So h3 isn't the end of white's problems. I mean, white's problems not long term because he is up a pawn, but this initiative. Knight c4 though, excellent move because it defends f2 and threatens to pick off that excellent bishop on b6, and it's also threatening bishop d7, forking the knight takes b6 and bishop d7 should win the game on the spot. So Gawain Jones here can win the game, and he finds it. Moves to 3 out of 3, beats a pretty tough competitor, rated around 2700 blitz here, Darius Schwartz. So big win for Gawain, who continues to play good chess in the Pro Chess League in his classical events. Shouldn't have any problem converting this. Okay, in blitz, I can never say 100%, but nice job. Hello, Manor Monkey, Dr. Robotvinik, Lewis. See quite a few English guys in the chat. Let's check on the chat, actually. I'm trying to multitask here. No, I promise I will check on Kamsky's game. Hello, Halvard, cool chess ball. Is playing chess my full-time job? No, it's a mix of things. It's one thing I do quite a bit, but I guess I can't say it's full-time because I work doing quite a few other things as well, chess related. This game, just as I was saying, Gawain was going to win. Darius putting up some stiff resistance here, and rook and pawn against two pieces. If anything, black is absolutely okay, and white might be the one in danger here. So when you mess up good positions, just remember lots and lots of grandmasters do it too. Happens to the best of us. Yep. Check back on Hikaru against Fier, who is converting. Oh, there we go. His last move was very nice. Rook a6, cutting the king off so that he can bring his king in and just queen the pawn. Now, who will we follow? So many options. Taking bribes. The problem with taking bribes from chess players is, for the most part, chess players are pretty cheap. So I'm not sure I'm in the right industry for that. Who am I going to follow? Let's follow Gusenov against Chadayev. This looks like oh, never mind, it's already... Ooh! Came at a nasty time. That is a lovely checkmate, guys. Look at this mate that Gusenov set up. Very nice. Knight b7 check. King has to go to b4 because the 6th rank is covered. Rook check. Forcing c4. Now the king takes away the c4 square. Rook g3. Planning to play a3. And he walks right into it. Very nice, very nice mating net here by Gusenov. He moves to 3-3. The game between Jones and Schwartz was drawn. Gawain's going to be kicking himself, but it's 11 rounds. You can't get too caught up on that. No, I don't expect anybody to go perfect today. So far, Hikaru is starting off very well. He hasn't won a Title Tuesday in a while, if I recall. They've been pretty strong recently, and quite a few upsets. But other players on 3-3: Kovalyenko, Kamsky, Shimonov, Hess. Robert is the evil enemy, playing against the chessbrahs tomorrow. Myers on 3-3. Okay, tons of players, about 12 players. There's a CM on 3-3. That's impressive. There is a CM from Mozambique on 3-3. So, never heard of him, but shit, I don't think I know any chess players from Mozambique, so that's a first. But I think we're gonna follow him next round. That seems like a story. Seems like a storyline. He is rated 2100 blitz, and he's on 3-3, which means definitely he's scored a few upsets against higher rated players. Knight against rook here, one of the last games of the round. This is drawn, one of the easier draws, and in fact he just blundered his rook. Knight f3 check. Yeah. That's maybe the quickest way to draw, just blunder your extra piece. believe round. Okay, one more game. Oh, Wolverine Master. Speaking of Wolverine Master, has anybody seen Logan? The movie out with Hugh Jackman, the X-Men spin-off series. Did anybody watch it? I heard some really good things about it. And there's a movie theater a few blocks away here near our hotel, so I'm thinking about watching it. Wolverine. These guys are playing this position out. You gotta be kidding me. Dead drawn. Everything's fixed. There's no way to even try here. And that gives me time to talk to you lovely people on the internet. Let's check the chat. How is Pedro Martinez doing? I have to check. Too many people to follow this event. Am I in Riga? I'm no longer in Riga. I am in Sweden now. Looking for my Tinderella. Thank you, Harley. I appreciate it. I'm trying to make chess great. These guys still playing? No, finally a draw. Excellent. Okay. Round 4 now. Pretty much every matchup on the top boards is GM against GM. Robert Hess against Hikaru Nakamura. Board 1. Board 2. No, we're going to go to board 3 because Gadakamsky, who seems to be a newer player on chess.com, is playing, and he's playing, look at that, his bishop f4 London style systems. He is one of the best players in chess history at winning these middle games, at playing this opening. If you want to study the London or these quiet symmetrical queen pawn opening lines, just look at Gadakamsky's games. He makes it look easy. He's made a career out of grinding his opponents down from these harmless looking structures. And here he is. He's playing Banksu. Who's Banksu? I'm guessing that's Banush. Yes, Tamas Banush from Hungary. 2600 Grandmaster. Also, I don't recognize his name from these events too much, so really means there are a lot of new strong players on the interface. Always a good thing. It might mean there's less chances of me ever winning a title Tuesday, but on the other hand, it's always more fun to have new opponents. Keeps things exciting to have new partners. So Gada's going, he's pawn grabbing. He's up with his pawn, and a5 was played to, stop b4. But at the same time, you got some weak light squares. For example, now you can't take here. Because of knight takes, the knight gets hit, and bishop b5 check is also being threatened. Not so pleasant. And both players taking a lot of time in the opening, but Kamsky really experienced in this opening. So I would definitely favor him. Try not to check on too many games, but if you have somebody you'd like me to spectate, let me know. Oh, the guy from Mozambique. I will memorize his name. I'm not being mean when I said that. When I played my first international tournament in Europe, people called me. People called me and my and I'm on Terrence and Phillip instead of remembering our names from South Park. So you know, just keeps it simple. Okay, here he is, CM Perligaro. He's on 3 out of 3. He's really the Cinderella story right now. I mean, he's rated 21, 30, and most of the players on 3 out of 3 are rated 2600, 2700, 2800. Down some time here, but the top performing African player right now. He's taking a lot of time here. I'm not sure what there is to think about. You just got to get your king safe. You're not going to castle king side because of this, I mean, white's got a rook on g1. He's ready to play h4. You're going to castle on the queen side where it's locked down. You got a4 and c4. So white can't break open the position with b3 or b4. So I think it's clear you got a castle on the queen side, and he's taking a lot of time to make that decision. And, well, we'll see. But that might put a lot of pressure on him. And now, yeah, his king not looking very safe over there on d8. But again, the position is semi-closed. So, if your king is, let's say, running around naked, at least if it's in a closed or semi-closed position, you got some time to find a hiding spot. You're not getting hunted in the open. His name is, Person Abrantes, FIDE 2010. Story of the event right now. Is he going to find safety for the king? King is on c8. I think he wants to play b6 or b5 and put the king to b7. And remember, oh, well, that's a good move. Queen d8 played quickly. Only move. Is Kamsky putting in the squeeze? Yes, he's better here, but not as... Oh, yeah, he's up a minute and a half. Never mind. Minute and a half indicates how uncomfortable black is with his position here. I'm expecting f4 potentially. Or king c2, bring the king towards the center, but maybe f4. Put the bishop to d3. Put the bishop to c4. Opposite bishops, but you got two rooks on the board. Got a big time advantage. Have more active pieces. I'm liking Kamsky's position right now. I think he's going to pull this. Bring this point home. Hikaru here. He's up a minute and a half against Hess. He's playing very confidently in this. Bishop against knight, but the c-pawn could be an asset, could be a problem. I think it's more of a problem because I think black's king arrives first. So now king e7, king d7, king c6. No? Okay, this looks very good for Hikaru. His king should arrive to c6 well ahead of white's king. Pick up that pawn. He's got a huge time edge. This... No, wait a sec. Bishop c6. That's a good move because you can put the bishop to e8. No, this is still bad. The pawn. Hikaru, you see this strategy. Play quickly, induce mistakes, and it's very effective. Works against me, works against a lot of people, makes us look very bad. But here, guys, story of the tournament so far. Canada Master Person Abrantes from Mozambique is on 3 out of 3. And he's down a pawn here. But he's playing rook f3, about to pick off this h3 pawn. His king has found sanctuary on b7, and he's coming. He's coming for you. He's going to reroute that knight to c4. Excellent square, guys. I'll tell you what, I'm predicting a win for black here despite being down a pawn. I'm seeing the momentum shift. I'm seeing the black's position is better than it's ever been because his king is safe and he's got some active pieces. This is starting to look very promising for black. Knight takes here as a second pawn. Oh wow, guys, he is about to move to 4-4 in first place, guys. If he converts this, Canada Master Person Abrantes from Mozambique. I saw the movie Queen of Catway right when it came out, so I got a bit of a soft spot for the African chess stories. There's not a lot of good training available there at tournaments, so very impressive when a player comes from Africa and produces top level results, because they have to travel so far to get to Europe where there are more tournaments. Oh, he's messing up though. He's pushing that pawn, but his king is in a tight spot here. What is going on here? Is this king c8? King c8? He's flagging. Oh no, he finds the move. Rook f8. Rook f8, king d7. Excellent move. Excellent move by Person. Rook f8, king d7. King d7, and he finds it. Oh. Maybe that was an excellent move. But can he flag his opponent? Knight c4. No, looks like he is going down, but that was a very tense game. Very tense. There's a bit of lag, eh? Maybe it's on my end as well. Yeah, the Rock is my champ. The People's champ is Dwayne Johnson. Or Shan Maruga. He's also the People's champ. I think he won the title Tuesday a few months ago. Kamsky's game was a draw. Hikaru won, which wasn't a surprise because of the time situation. Just to fast forward the position here. How did he win? Well, he just took advantage of the time situation, really. And yeah, up 2 pawns. He just played with his knight, created some threats, and it was very hard to stop with little time. These two players are on 3 out of 3, so one of the few games left with potential leaders. Oh, no, I just found somebody else. I found Lawrence Trent here, taking a hit. Our favorite commentator, guys, Lawrence Trent. He's mounting the comeback, but it looks like in this game he got mounted himself. And Matabar wins by resignation. Oof. Feels bad, man. I'm cheering for Lawrence. I'm on Team Trent. How can you not be on Team Trent? But he falls to 2 out of 4. And other news, guys. This game finished in a win for white. So the winner of that moves to 4 to 4. We got how many players left on 4 to 4? Only 8 players left. 8 players left on 4 to 4, so it is thinning out. But favorites, in my view, in my opinion, here are Nakamura, Meyer, Kovalyenko, Gusenov. All very, very good blitz players. And yeah, they've all played in quite a few Title Tuesdays, so very experienced online as well. If you want to follow the events, go to chess.com, go to the live interface, like go to play live chess, and click on the tournament tab and look for Title Tuesday. But you have to be not on just not only the website, you need to be on the live chess interface. And then you can chat, troll, do whatever you want. I'm not encouraging it. Just saying options. Who's this guy? Okay, round 5 is about to begin. 8 players on 4 to 4. Board 1, Nakamura against Chagayev. Chagayev is a fairly young Russian grandmaster. Board 2, Smirnov, Kovalyenko. You see all the blitz ratings here pretty high, 2600s, 2700s. These guys play on the website a lot. Kovalyenko is offering a Benoni over here, so we're going to keep our eye out on that. He's a very exciting player. He played for Riga in the Pro League. And Gusenov Meyer. Meyer using going back to his bread and butter, the French defense here, his reliable opening against e4. But I'm gonna stay on board 1 over here because I think everyone here is a Naka fan, right? I just presume all you guys on the internet are just huge Naka fans. If anything, just you can be a fan of Hikaru because he beats me all the time, and I have a lot of haters, which is fine. So I think he does a good role in beating me up. Well, the d6 pawn here looks like the weak point for white to exploit. And I don't see what black is going to do for counterplay. So you might have to resort to passive defense here. I mean, lashing out with d5 here isn't advisable because the queen is on e7. e-file is going to open up, and then there'll be something discovered. I guess he is trying to play d5, actually. He's trying to play d5 and take advantage of the c-file and white's queen on c2. Hikaru, meanwhile, is going to try to control the position, play quickly. He's already up a minute on the clock, and just build up slow, annoying pressure on the d6 pawn. Eric Hansen is to chess what Tom Brady is to chess. What is Tom Brady to chess? Tom Brady. I would love to be compared to Tom Brady, but if you're saying how Tom Brady is in chess, I'm not sure that's a compliment. I don't know. I don't know his level. I'll gladly teach Giselle Bundchen chess, though. Speaking of, yes. Who else can we spectate and creep on? I'm going to stalk some players who don't even know who I am, actually. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a stalker. So Naka here. Oh, wait, no. Let's stay on the game. I get distracted. I'm sorry. Rook c7. Okay. Bishop takes c4. Would yield a pawn. But Hikaru's going for queen c3. He's letting the rook do the work on the d file. His queen is going to blockade the pawn. And he might have some ideas on that long diagonal. Huh. I'm not sure I understand queen. Yeah. He could have taken on c4 and just been up. Oh, no, not up a pawn. I can't count. Counting, I did fail math class before, actually. So counting is not necessarily my specialty. This would just be even material, so. Never mind. Naka did not take the pawn back because he's up a minute on the clock. He wants to keep the queens on the board because it's a lot easier to for his opponent to overlook things, to get in time pressure when there's queens on the board, and some counterplay against, let's say, Black's king. How's Smirnov and Kovalyenko? Kovalyenko here is down a pawn. Ooh. Down a pawn. This looks pretty good for white. He can always bail out and put the bishop back to g2 and try to convert this position. No. That's a good way. Queen a5 attacking a2 and the rook. So rook a1 could technically defend the material. Move the rook out of the way and defend a2 and try to keep your material. But then rook c8 is fairly annoying. So instead he says, okay, you can win the a2 pawn, restore equality in that sense, but I'm going to take the juicy d file and your queen's going to be offside for at least a move. In blitz, that's a fairly practical decision that I can agree with because he was low on time. He was up a pawn, but the position was pretty sharp. Now the position's pretty easy to understand. He's got active pieces, easy play, and yeah, just a lot easier to play this position, and I think that matters more than that extra a2 pawn. But okay, this game I'd say close to equal. Over here though, Naka is up a knight as long as he doesn't get checkmated. So he's looking at moving his king up and into g5. And I'm just trying to figure out if there's any sort of trick. I don't see any trick there. I don't see this e5 pawn is fantastic because it stops f6 ideas from black, which would cut off white's king from actually running into g5. No, he's just going to play knight e8. Knight f6. Oh no, you gotta watch out for king here in g5. That's what he's doing. Okay, so rook f1. Oh no, rook f1, king h6. Knight takes f7, rook f7, rook f7, rook g8 is rook h2 is mate. Uh-oh. The line I just gave is not a good line. This didn't actually happen, did it? No, if the king gets here, this is a win. Yeah, this is a nice mating net. No, what I was talking about, which wasn't actually very accurate, was to play king here. With the idea, okay, not an idea, but you can't take on f7 because I'm going to sacrifice my rook and deliver checkmate over here. And I'm trying to play g5. Right now I'm threatening g5 and rook h2 mate. So you have to take. take, and move your king back. But as long as you do this, I think this is just winning. You can play rook h1 if necessary, or you can meet g5 with g4 and play this position out. There's no mate here, and this is also winning for white. But it's a little tricky. But no, he would have found the move. So Naka's still in control of the event. But Kovalyenko actually won this position pretty comfortably against Smirnov. He moves to 5 out of 5, and Gusenov, wins against Meyer. Moves to 5 out of 5. So how many players? 3 players on 5 out of 5. Let's watch Kamsky. Is he still playing? Gata is losing against IM Unico 10 from Peru. So Kamsky going down against a Peruvian. And that's going to be unfortunate for Kamsky fans, because he'll drop to a point and a half behind the leaders. If white manages to convert this, that is. Which I guess isn't a given. Rook e5 check. I have no idea, by the way, why he played h6 right away. That pawn is kind of cut off from its buddies. Okay, there you go. And now, yeah. What? Excellent. I thought for a second he messed up, but that was just me. Kamsky goes down. Big result there. Big upset. One of the viewers in the chat by the name of Manor Monkey has requested that I follow Yakov's games. He's a big fan, and we will oblige to that request, Manor Monkey. So Yakov here is trying to convert rook and bishop. This is drawn for sure, but he's up a minute and 20 seconds on the clock. Might be able to come up with tricks, but I mean, if anything, 2 connected pawns is easily worth the bishop. Well, this is the last game of the round, I'm guessing. No, there's couple more. But after round 5, I'll tell you what, Hikaru is playing really quick. He's not making any big mistakes. Okay, he wins bad positions sometimes, but that's part of his blitz skill. But he's really actually pushing most games he's been in. He hasn't been in many difficult spots. Hasn't been in any really lost positions at first glance. And so right now you got to peg him as a clear favorite. Next round, if he plays Kovalyenko, I think that's going to be a very exciting matchup. Kovalyenko's a very good blitz player. Very good at complicated positions as well. So we might see a pretty serious fight. Players on 4.5. Genghis, K, Darya Shverts, and quite a few IMs actually. There's a trio of IMs who need to be beaten. I was taught, you know, as soon as you get the grandmaster title, your goal is to actually prevent other people from becoming grandmaster, which makes a lot of sense. So whenever you see an IM walking around, you're pretty much supposed to, you know, hurt them in a chess sense, because it's supposed to be an exclusive club. So I see a trio of IMs: Incognito Knight, Unico Ten, and Hunin on 4.5 out of 5, and I'm hoping my grandmaster colleagues can take care of them. The next round for the Montreal chessbrahs is tomorrow night. We're using Fabiano Caruana, Li Chao, myself, Alexander Lesiege, and Elias Usidik. That's our lineup. Pairings are out. We're playing tomorrow night. It's going to be a huge match. Actually, every match in the league is huge. It's playoff time. So Magnus is playing, I think, quite a few other people, and probably Wesley. So the usuals, MVL. It's game day tomorrow. Wednesday is Pro Chess League day. This is really just an appetizer for that. You don't want to miss that. As I said, Yakov might flag this guy. He's very, very good at flagging. And look at that. He wins rook and bishop against rook and two connected past pawns, which is, you know, completely drawn. And so he moves to 3.5 out of 5. Hikaru is playing tomorrow. He's returned from his trip abroad. He was playing a tournament. So he's playing for the Miami champions, who advanced in the playoffs last week by defeating Toronto. They're in our division, but not in our bracket. So if Miami's match and our match, the winners will play each other. But yeah, we're playing the Montclair Sopranos, who beat Philadelphia the last week. Okay, round 6, here we go. Gusenov, Hikaru, round board 1. Got a Berlin. Very solid chess by Hikaru. Okay, I don't think the players are going to go for 11 out of 11. So maybe a practical choice, minimizing risk. Hikaru's going to look at the field and he's going to think of some players who he considers actual threats, and he's going to play accordingly. And then there's players who he probably considers fish, such as myself. I'm not in the field. But, you know, there's the players you want to push against and the players you want to be a bit more cautious of. And I think he's going to be quite cautious of Gusenov based on the opening choice. And he's going to be looking to hunt some other guys. They're going to have a quick draw here. This is a classic Berlin repetition. Hikaru against Gusenov. Already over. The player's happy to tango in the center. And that's just a theoretical draw. Good evening, Jan the King. So that means we're on board 2. So Kovalyenko is the only player left in the field with a chance to move to 6 out of 6. They're playing a theoretical line of the same-ish. Amon actually plays this line, as far as I know. You grab a pawn and you hold on. And Black's supposed to have some counterplay here with the bishop here. I don't actually see any counterplay. I don't know what the counterplay is over here. This looks awful. This looks like a full pawn. You got a bind. You got the Marazzi bind, controlling squares in the center. Your pieces are very well coordinated. I'm talking about white. Let's look from white's perspective. The materialistic side. Pawn hoarders. Pawn grabbers. Oh. Well, this is just going to be a matter of technique, I think. I really don't see any compensation for black. It's not lost, but it's a healthy pawn. Well, actually, it's close to lost. It really looks like a full pawn to me. with the right moves. There's not even counterplay. There's no where to put that bishop on d7. You don't want to put it on c6 and allow it to be taken off. Knight on f6 is blocking his own bishop. This looks bad. Kovalyenko here, a favorite to move to clear first. Let's check on the chat. Andre, the first match tomorrow, I don't remember off the top of my head. I only remember my match. But it should start 5 or 6 Central European time. Something. If you go to prochessleague.com, I think they have the times. prochessleague.com or chess.com/prochessleague. Let me make sure I'm not lying to you. Let me try that out. Yep, prochessleague.com works. So you'll have the times there. I'm drinking an energy drink because yeah, I'm just staying up late. Well, the good thing for black is you have possibilities of an opposite bishop fortress. The bad part is white's got a 4-2 majority on the queen side, and there's rooks on the board. More pieces on the board means less chance of, you know, the opposite bishops actually, you know, the opposite bishop endgame actually happening. Because the rooks on the board is going to benefit white. If the rooks weren't on the board, okay, yeah, maybe this is a draw, but there are some chances here. The thing is, if you trade rooks off, I don't think white wins with the connected C and D pawns. Black should be able to blockade the way he is set up right now, and white can never enter on the king side. No, this might be holding, but then only white can be unhappy with how he played to allow this. But not yet. It's too early to say that. Rook b1 would be a follow-up here. The problem is black is going to put his rook on a8, and there's no entry squares. Okay, rook on a8. Maybe I'll play rook b1, rook b6, and try to bring my king to c5. But it doesn't feel right. Also, if I'm white, I'm probably going to consider playing h4 here, because I might be worried about black playing h4 at some point and targeting my h3 pawn. So I'm a bit surprised that hasn't been played. You can't hear me. King Gaurav said you can't hear me? Well, people are talking about politics in the chat, so I'm not sure that's because of me or because of the games. My commentary is causing people to talk about Justin Trudeau, so I'm not sure how to take that, actually. I don't see a breakthrough here. I'm trying to think of oh, he wants to put the king to e5 and to march to f6. Well, he's going to try. Okay, wait a sec. Well, there you go. That's excellent. The king can't go to e6 because the bishop is hanging right now. I'm not sure that black considered this variation. But Kovalyenko here, power chess. He's trying to get the king to e5. So c5 might be played right now. c5. Do you play c5? Do you play rook b8? But he's got to stop white from getting that king to f6. That king to f6 would be pretty deadly. This is a good effort by white. Very focused. Because at some point, black was probably feeling like he was getting close to a draw. One key point, guys, notice white has not touched the c-pawn. He's not pushing it up to c5. He can do that at any moment, but by keeping the pawn on c4, he controls two vital squares, two light squares, which he badly lacks. He's already got full control over many dark squares, but he needs some of that, and that's why he's keeping this pawn on c4 and not pushing it, which is a very correct decision. Bishop f6. Well, he's got a big time edge, and he goes for bishop f6, bishop d7. He's got 30 seconds extra on the clock. But black is hanging in tough. These are two excellent blitz players. This is board 2, round 6. Igor Kovalyenko, first place, 5 out of 5. Federico Perez Ponza playing black here. He's on 4.5 out of 5. Good position for both players here. And first place is at stake. Guys, I'm not playing because I'm the commentator, and you don't want to listen to me commentate on my own games. That would be rough. So he's finally played c5. Well, now black is up on time, and Genghis is an excellent bullet player. So white's got to watch out that he doesn't overpress here. He wants to play c6, probably give up this pawn to get his rook to e7, check black's king from behind, and then he can push d7 himself. So rook check, king d5. He can't play d7 yet because rook d8, but looks like he's making some progress. Rook here, bishop there. This is a good match. These guys are really both playing excellent. The game's gone on for 70 moves now, but good defense and good offense from white trying to break through this. And now he wants to walk his king to c5 and get to c6. The king wants to go to c6. Bishop d7 here. Bishop b7 looks like a critical move because he's got to stop the king from getting c6. He finds it. And now as soon as this rook moves away from a5, you can expect rook b5 check, kicking the king back. Oh, he didn't do that. Okay, that's okay. Because the idea I have here for white is I want to bring my rook around. I want to sacrifice my rook for the bishop, bring my king to c6, and win that endgame with bishop and pass pawn against rook because black's king is so far away. Igor Kovalyenko still slowly but surely he's making progress. He's kicking the king back, and wow, what can I say? This looks winning now. The bishop has to move. The king gets to c6, that coveted square. Oh, he could have taken on e6 there maybe and played king d5. He's going for something different. Probably works as well. d7. No, d7. He's trying to, okay. Winning for white, guys. Two passed pawns here. A very, very well-earned victory by Igor Kovalyenko. He moves to clear first, 6 out of 6, defeating Federico Perez Ponza of Argentina. That was, you saw why keeping rooks on the board was very important for pushing this position. Otherwise, a lot of the possibilities that white had wouldn't have been available. So a really, really nice game by Kovalyenko to win that. Black put up very good resistance. He's in clear first with 6 out of 6, which earns him a date with Hikaru Nakamura. So round 7, here we go. Naka gets the white pieces against Kovalenko, who would just have the longest game of the round, but a really, really instructive game. Very high level blitz game right there. I just came from Riga, just came from Latvia, played a Blitz and Rapid event over the weekend. A lot of the players playing here were at the event. Kovalenko was one of the players there. Alexei Shirov was the organizer of the tournament, and it was well organized. It was a pretty fun time. I see Alexander Grishuk online as well. I don't see him normally online. I don't think he's playing the tournament, but maybe that means he might play a future event. That would be pretty cool. But we're gonna stay on board 1 here. I think Kovalenko earned our attention by that last effort, and here he's in clear first. If he holds Hikaru, he might be able to see the finish line. Still a long way to go though. 11 rounds, so 5 games remaining. But he is the first player to be in clear first. What's the second game to watch? Who are we going to follow? This one for sure. We're going to watch Gorg Meyer against Simon Williams. 2 well-known chess.com personalities and streamers, especially Simon. Meyer is still a professional player as far as I know. And we got a Dutch, Leningrad, and the problem here is that light squared bishop for black is not finding a lot of space. On the other hand, the e5 pawn might be undermined in some positions at some point. It doesn't have f4 supporting it or pawn support. So there might be some positions here where black can really pressure that e5 pawn, which is on a dark square. Black does have the bishop pair. At first glance, I actually don't mind. I think this is kind of dynamically equal, but that was contingent on this bishop developing to g6. And queen e4 is a great move, stopping that bishop from getting anywhere. Okay, it can go to f7 and whatnot, but you gotta prefer white space advantage here. Bishops need open positions to operate properly for the most part, and I wouldn't consider this an open position yet. White is doing a good job of controlling black, and Meyer is a very positional player for the most part, so this is exactly where he wants to put Simon, on his back, defending, playing passive moves. Simon has to really reroute his pieces here. He does not have the initiative. He cannot it's not easy for black to sacrifice. It's not easy for black to get activity. It's a good position to put Simon in if you're a Gorg Meyer, not letting the Dutch position become too unclear or active. Let's check back on board 1. Kovalenko's placed his rook on a5. It remains to be seen. That's a good or bad thing. It's obviously very active, but it seems it could also get trapped or find itself misplaced or helpless. For example, d4, d5 is now the threat, and then the rook is hanging. So to me, it looks a bit misplaced. Looks like this is an open position. Hikaru's up 20 seconds. He's got a lot of aggressive moves at his disposal, like d5 or rook e1. He's going to have the bishop against a knight in this open position. Advantage Nakamura for sure, who is a half point behind Kovalenko. Nakamura really pushing her g4, trying to prepare g5 and just open up, bust up black's position with his bishop and queen battery on the long diagonal. Hikaru trying to use his long bishop and penetrate Kovalyenko's position here. He's really trying to create something over here. And this rook, look at this rook. It came from a5, it swung all the way over, and it's really lacking real estate. This is getting better and better for Hikaru, guys. Trying to understand the sacrifice. Hikaru's taking his time. Why? Yeah, I thought you could just take the knight. Queen e5 was another option. I guess he was looking for an even better move, but this is the fallback, which is completely winning. No, Nakamura with a very convincing win over Kovalyenko. I think one of the downfalls for black was that rook on a5. It was a risky play, and it turned out that the bishop, the queen for white, open position really favors white there, and his rook was caught in the crossfire. This is all but over. f6, yeah, f6 has been played. King up. Or rook, okay, either or. No, this is resignable. Nakamura is going to move to 6.5 out of 7. He takes down the leader, and maybe his strategy is paying off. Remember, he drew Guseynov. He didn't mind making a draw with black, and he's really been scoring with the white pieces. So remains to be seen, but it looks like it's paying off. Hikaru's been playing very good chess, no mistakes, up on time, converting well. Impressive stuff. Who's next? Oh, Meyer against Ginger GM. That game is still ongoing. Meyer is now up a pawn. A pawn to the good, as Yasser would say. And black's king is also about to get checkmated. Oh, it's mate. Knight h7. If king f8, if king h8, rook h7. Here, I thought it was mate. It is mate. Rook h7, rook h5, and queen f3 is mate. Rook h7, rook h5, and queen f3 is mate. He found it. It was a mate in every single variation. And it seems like a very good technical display by Meyer. He really controlled Williams there. Didn't let that Dutch get out of hand. And he moves to 5 out of 7, still within striking distance. He's just got to work his way up. Guseynov has won as well to move to 6.5. Big scores. And now that we follow the top games, I can be creative. Let's follow this game. Prousers representing Holland against Paul from St. Petersburg. That's his username, so it's very descriptive. Paul from St. Petersburg. Sounds like a very pleasant chap. And white here has a knight and 2 pawns against the rook, and they're both outside pawns, which really stretch black's position. King and then h7. This is looking good. Bishop f6, bishop f6, h7, bishop f6. Oh, bishop f6. He missed bishop f6. I think bishop f6 would have been very good. Maybe it's still a draw, but white's the one here making the gains. Uh-oh, a6 pawn is about to fall, and the bishop on c2 controls the h7 pawn, or the pawn on h6. So this no longer is good for white. It's probably just a draw, but with 5 seconds left for black, I guess anything can still happen. But I expect this game to fizzle out. Yeah, a lot of endgames for sure. I mean, black can sacrifice his rook for the knight, and it's a draw. But it means black is trying to play for the win, because he can sacrifice. And it's an opposite bishop draw, especially because the king is blockading the pawn. But definitely tells us what black's intentions are. He's going to play this on and try to provoke a blunder. Is there any other game to follow? Yes, there are a few ones. Iturrasega from Venezuela. He's recently done very well in some tournaments. Eduardo I think his live rating is around 2675 right now. He won the Portugal Open last month. He did well at Aeroflot. I think he's at a career best live rating. And he's giving hope in South America that they will have a super grandmaster in the near future. Top rated player in South America, Eduardo Iturrasega. But he goes down in this game, down a rook. These guys are enjoying this position, aren't they? Hard for either side to blunder because the pieces are pretty structured. The bishop on g7 and pawn. It's hard to blunder that. They're protecting each other. It's an if you're white, you just run around on the dark squares. If you're black, you just run around on the light squares, and you just don't bother each other. So it's very hard to blunder this position unless you really misplace your pieces. Hmm. Thank you, Xenomorphy. Finally, players agreed to a draw. And round 8, here we go. Let me just exit these previous games. Board 1, we have Kovalenko against Gusenov. Kovalenko coming off a loss with black against Naka. A loss is okay. I'm predicting the winning score for this tournament is going to be 9.5 out of 11, which is a monster score. 9 out of 11 is going to maybe be a tie. 9.5 will win clear first, which requires a player it means Gusenov can or Hikaru, who are in the lead right now. They have 6.5 out of 7. They can give up a point, but they need to go 3 out of 4 minimum in their final games. 9.5 out of 11 is my guess for a winning score. It might be 10, but 9 wouldn't be enough. So players have to start winning on demand now. And Kovalenko here, we got a King's Indian. This game looks to be pretty interesting. White isn't going to castle very easily with that knight on f4. At the same time, he's expanded on the queen side pretty early. Normally in the King's Indian, you castle as white, and then you start pushing your queen side pawns. Here, he's doing that before even developing his light squared bishop on f1. So a different treatment of it, and what it means is black gets a ton of activity. I like black's position. It's a King's Indian, and when you play the King's Indian, you want to have counter chances, you want to have space. Seems to me like black is the one getting that sort of King's Indian counterplay here. White, usually you like to use your space control, not allow too much counterplay, and try to win cleanly, and because as soon as it gets dirty and unclear, then the tactics start coming in. And the tactics, well, they're hard to anticipate in the King's Indian quite often. I like black's position right now. Gusenov playing sharp with black, not playing a drawish line or like a solid opening. He's going for it. He thinks he'll play best by sticking to his guns, by playing his sharp repertoire, and Kovalenko's also happy to go into this. But I like black's position a lot here. E4. Maybe. Pawn to e4 looks very, very tempting here. Who else? Hikaru is paired against Uniko, who I've missed. We saw Uniko take down Gadakamsky. He's from Peru. Might have to look up his name. Although, based on his picture, it looks like a guy I've played a few times. But he's on 6.5 out of 7. He's playing Hikaru, and he's just gone pawn hunting. He's won a pawn. He's keeping his queen on b5, where it's going to get, well, it's under siege right now. But if he can keep that extra pawn, pawn is a pawn. I think I know who he is. Giuseppe Leva, yeah, it is. Okay, played him a few times. I think he's around 21 or 22 years old, and I am from Peru. But he's having a hell of a tournament right now. Because this is a really strong Title Tuesday. It's got to be like 50 GMs in the field, maybe more. Hikaru, queen b6. Now, what's interesting here is he could have won his pawn back with bishop takes e2. And I would have considered that. But instead, I like what he did. He played a more challenging move, because he's still threatening to win the pawn, but he's also threatening bishop b5, queen a3, bishop e7. A pretty good attempt at trapping white's queen. And that's the sort of move that really gets somebody into time trouble. You really anticipate that, oh, okay, your opponent sacked the pawn, he's going to win it back. He even wins it back with interest, but no. Nakamura plays queen b6, which seems a lot more challenging to me, quite frankly. Bishop b5, we're going to have this variation. Bishop e7. Maybe he's going to make another in-between move, actually. He might play rook c8 here. It remains to be seen. No, okay, he played bishop e7, b4, queen e3, but I mean, black is just better here. You visually look at the coordination for black. Very active, fantastic knight on e4, good bishop on b5. Open a file, and now triple pawns. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. This is a clinic on board 2 over here, really having his way with Uniko. As soon as white took the pawn, Hikaru went into this turbo mode, just played for compensation, played for activity, and really took over the game with piece activity. Yeah, this is over. This is a very, very, very nasty position. Triple pawns. Your bishop on f1 is useless. You got no prospects. Your bishop on d4 is acting as a like it's a pawn as well. So Hikaru's dancing around White's pieces over here, and he's going to win and move to 7.5 out of 8. He's been playing well. You got to, based on consistency, Hikaru right now is looking really, really sharp. He's going to pick up the e5 pawn, and that's going to be a 2-pawn advantage, something that Black will convert with ease. Now it's a 3-pawn advantage, and he's up a minute and 50 seconds. I mean, what an absolute blowout. And now g4, rook f2 wins the piece, or g4, rook e4. So g4 check, king up. Okay, this works as well. I'm going to leave that game and I'm check here because I was saying Guseynov had a very good King's Indian. It seems like that has not changed. White's king is running for the hills here. Black's bishops are dictating the position, and this is just lost. This should just be lost. Rook on h1 is doing nothing. All of Black's pieces are active. It's just the King's Indian that has gone really well for Black. And when that happens, well, it's one of the most dangerous blitz openings because it's very hard to survive the onslaught of the King's Indian pawns when you have only a few minutes on the clock. Now this is King's just marching on the dark squares. Queen g3. Queen g3. The bishop can move, but the rook's not protected. This works as well. Guseynov with a very powerful win. He beats Kovalenko with Black, with the King's Indian. Very nice. So Guseynov keeps up with Hikaru. Those players both move to 7.5 out of 8. And I think we all enjoy seeing those sharp games. When the players instead could also coast a bit and try to secure a prize, there's some urgency there. In third place, by the way, a player I haven't mentioned, but he's doing very well, is Axel Bachmann from Paraguay. He's on 7 out of 8, and he's going to play one of the leaders. He's quietly but consistently won or drawn, his way up. I think 6 wins and 2 draws. And he's on 7 out of 8. So he's in clear third as of right now. Let's check up on Gawain. We haven't seen him in a while. How is he doing? Gawain here looks like he's getting mated. Ooh, he's not doing well. He goes down. He moves 5 out of 8, probably out of contention now. Smirnov moves to 6 out of 8, so he's got an outside chance at prizes. 9 out of 11 should get some prize. In the money. Who else? Who else shall we check on? Any requests? Oh, there's an NM with 6 out of 7. Swifty McBishop is really killing it. 6 out of 7. Swifty McBishop. Let's check on Swifty McBishop. 2200 NM from Canada. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Let's see how he's doing here. Rook takes b7. Oh, that works as well. He offered a draw here as White, but excellent move. King f3, threatening rook h7 checkmate, and now rook h7 and king takes g3. He wins the g3 pawn. Oh, he didn't go for it. That's a little surprising. Oh, he's winning anyways. What? Bishop f3. That was very, very bizarre. White was winning that endgame, and he decided to give black all the moves to bring his king around and to queen that pawn, and just that was a win for Swifty. Swifty played really well. Goes down against Genghis K, and Genghis K moves to 6.5 out of 8, still in contention. Okay, we got this endgame here. This is a draw. F and H against E, with rooks on the board. Even F and H against rook is sometimes a draw. But with the addition of the E5 pawn, Meyer should hold this position. I want to take a quick look at this game that we just witnessed, because I'm trying to figure out why in this position, check, king moves, king takes. You're threatening to win this pawn. If d4, I'm just going to take this pawn, and I'm threatening to play b5 and run my 8 pawn down the board. This should just be winning. a7, a8 is unstoppable, and d3, I just move. Oh, I move my king here. Or even, sorry, even, I have to move my king here and get my king to e1. Can't put my king here, but it still looks very promising. Or I can even, there's a few other moves. Rook d7, two pawns against two pawns, and rook against bishop. Looks very good for white there. So that would have been a huge upset. This is a draw, king g6. Meyer, very, very good technical player. Isn't going to mess that up. And he's a good bullet player, so trying to flag him isn't very easy. So after 8 rounds, in first place, Yukaro Nakamura, along with Gadir Gusenov from Azerbaijan. In third place, we got Axel Bachmann, and an FM from Argentina by the name of Charles Zapata, who's also quietly moved his way into third. So 2 South Americans up there. They're doing pretty well here, because then you got Genghis K and Unico as well. That contingent, that South American contingent, is really overperforming in this event. My predicted winning score is 9.5 out of 11, which means players need to have at least 6.5 out of 8 right now to have a theoretical chance of winning the tournament or catching up. But any less, and I think you're playing for the outer prizes. We got queen against knight over here, and it's taking a long time. This is taking a long time. What am I watching, by the way? Queen against knight, and there's 2 GMs playing? What's going on? Is this for real? Is that a hickey? Are you asking me? No, I don't have any. Are you talking about Naka, or are you talking about me? I don't think I have any hickeys. No. I haven't been doing anything at all. I've been well behaved, so. 12 moves until this is a draw. I'm in absolute shock that we are witnessing queen against knight on move 143, and apparently it's been about 40 moves. This is almost a 50 move draw. I've never seen this in Grandmaster play in my life. Queen against knight. In my opinion, this is the most shocking result in Title Tuesday history. In a Grandmaster game, Queen against Knight for 50 moves turned into a draw. That's the most shocking result I've because that's incredible. It's unbelievable. Queen against Knight is I've never even been taught how to win Queen against Knight because it's so easy. Queen against Knight, 50 moves. Study your end games, guys. I guess Queen against you don't wanna be the guy. I thought Knight and Bishop against King. Sometimes strong players still mess that up in Blitz, but Queen and Knight is absolutely brand new to me. You don't need to study that endgame to know how to win it. There's the thing, Queen against Knight is, I don't think there's just one way to win. I think there's a lot of ways to win. You don't need to only do one way. I mean, of course you have to pin and make progress, but interesting. I mean, okay, obviously it takes a little bit of work for a club player to do, but as I said, for the Grandmaster, at the Grandmaster level, that's very shocking. But you can use a king and knight and push a. You can use a king and a queen and push the king and knight back, as you would normally. Like, interesting. Why is the game not moving? That is a good question. Oh, sorry, I'm lagging. What? Sorry, guys, did you see that? I was lagging. Nothing moved and then everything came. Apologies. Let's quickly fast forward. Round 9. Hikaru Nakamura against Charles Zapata. Nakamura's got the best tiebreaks right now. He's playing well, but he's still only tied for first because Gadir Gusainov is keeping up. Naka sticking with his normal b3 opening, where he avoids a lot of theory. He knows it very well. He controls the positions, and again, it looks like it's been very successful. Rook c1 here looks very, very effective. He's got the open c file. This already looks crushing. He's up a minute. I'm just still trying to get my mind past the last game. Queen against knight endgame. Was this? This is already lost. Not quite. Close to it though. Naka's up a pawn. No, this is already almost GG. Very successful opening here. And as I said, Hikaru's really been playing well. You can't criticize he's him at all this event, or in general anyways, but I mean, like, he's a very good bullet player. He hasn't had to use any bullet skills at all in this event. Just good blitz chess, good chess moves, good time management. He hasn't even needed to resort to tricks. He's been in control of the games. He's been better in the games. He's been outplaying his opponents for in the vast majority of his games. So I'm very impressed by how he's playing so far. No, I'm not going to show you guys how to win queen against knight. I will I will let you play with yourselves. It's pretty easy to figure out. It's not a complicated endgame. The knights only move one way, and the only way to mess up is if you allow a fork. So you have to burn a few moves. You have to pin and bring your king in, and just push the king and knight off the board. But no, it's not something. It's not an endgame you need to know. So it has nothing to do about studying it at home and practicing it all the time. It's something you can just. I don't want to talk about the endgame the whole time, but it's something you can just figure out at the board. Rook takes c5, then d6, then maybe a bishop on e6 looks excellent. d6, is it d6? No, maybe king b6, huh? Pick up the other pawn. Probably king b6 here, but then king b6, king e7, and you might get your king to d6, which is a good blockading square. Yeah, so instead he's playing king b6, because he wants to meet king e7 with king takes b7. Bishop d7 here. I'm guessing bishop d7, then he's going to play... Okay, he brings his king over. Thought he might play bishop d7 followed by d6. And then put the bishop to f5, but maybe this works as well. There it is. Rook c6, king takes b7, rook d6, king c7. Oh, okay. He didn't have to resign right away, I guess. Rook c6, take, king here, here. But now I just make another passed pawn. I guess, yeah. Well, Naka wins this one pretty easily, but his opponent already resigned. So Hikaru moves to 8.5 out of 9. Let's follow the other game, Gusenov against Chito89, aka Axel Bachmann. And Gusenov is up a piece, and he's got a huge attack on f7. This looks like a win for Gadir. I mean, Gadir and Hikaru are putting together amazing performances right now. This is every round they're playing good players, and they've only drawn each other and beaten everyone else. So Kusenov wins against Bachmann. Those players are now a full point up on the field with 8.5 out of 9. And now I can be creative with who I'm going to watch. Let's watch Polite Player against Pete Seeger. This looks like a nice match. Polite Player. Sounds like a friendly chap. They're declining draws right now. Pete Seeger, battle of two Polite FMs. Let's check this out. Queen against queen. And they make a very gentlemanly-like draw. See, that's the sort of pleasant game we need to check on once in a while. Two guys making a nice, well-earned draw. Who else can I creep on? Bizou. Real Bizou from France against Humanity from Belgium. But wow, look at these pawns. Look at these pawns. Unfortunately, the material deficit was too much. This looked very nice for a second. If only the knight was not on the board, then if there wasn't a knight here, then maybe white can hold this. The knight just sacrifices. But if there was a rook against these pawns, then I think this might be playable. But with the knight, it's just lost. Why do GMs not trash talk each other much? Because you're not allowed in tournament play. There's rules about harassing your opponent. I wish it was allowed, actually, personally, I really do. But you're not allowed to trash talk. Online, yeah, you can type. Typing is good, but I'd really like in-person trash talk. That's very exciting. Here, Swifty McBishop here is playing against Alexander Indic from Serbia. And Swifty, by the way, is doing very well. He's on 6 out of 8, and he's probably up like a ton of rating. But here he blunders checkmate in 1. Queen g3 covers the king's escape square. So after queen h1 check, the only square for the king, well, there are no squares. These are covered by the bishop. Is queen here, followed by mate. We got a drawn rook, rook endgame over here. Yep. Okay. Yeah, playing footsie. I mean, yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's what people sometimes do. It's a good point. I see footsie happening more than trash talk at tournaments. People trying to win under the table. Just reading some comments here. I have to use my my phone as the chat checker because, yeah, as I said, I'm in a hotel room, so I don't have like 3 screens. Just checking up on the chat. We're waiting for the next round to start. There's only 1 game left, and they're playing on. Oh, never mind, actually. Pedro Martinez here, the hero of a previous tournament, is going down. His knight's been trapped, and it's the right pawn, right H pawn. So going into the championship rounds, round 10 and 11, last 2 rounds left. Hikaru and Gusenov on 8.5 out of 9. Genghis, Demchenko, and GM Malik of the San Diego Surfers, who are playing the playoffs in the playoffs tomorrow as well, and he's been doing very well there. He's on 7.5 out of 9, so that's any indication. Malik is in form, within striking distance. Those are the top 5. 3 players on 7.5 out of 9, 2 players on 8.5. Let's dive into round 10. Board 1, Genghis K from Argentina. Real life name Federico Perez Ponza from Argentina. Playing white against Hikaru Nakamura, American number 3 player. And he'll be playing for the Miami Champions tomorrow in the Pro Chess League and the US Championship coming up pretty soon at the end of the month, which I'm pretty excited for. We got a Rookie 1 Berlin, which is opening that, well, it's pretty fashionable. Carlsen used it against Karyakin, and I'd say it's pretty dry for the most part, so I might check on another game. But Hikaru cannot... Drawing with black, it's not clear that this is actually the desirable result, because Gusenov will then have the chance to take the sole lead. And we're going to check on board 2 then. Gusenov playing against Demchenko. Gadir playing black. He scored with black against Kovalyenko earlier. He's playing these Fianchetto systems with black. And here he is with what looks like to be a very reasonable position. I mean, for both sides, with chances. Pretty hard position to evaluate. Looks fairly equal to me. Don't see any serious imbalance that would sway the evaluation, since it's locked up on the queen side and both sides are pretty flexible on the king side. So let's head back to board 1. This game, very, very symmetrical. It's probably a guarantee that Hikaru is watching Gusenov's game to check on how that game is going, because in case Gusenov wins, Hikaru might need to win this game as well. So the top 2 players with a full point lead on the field, playing a game of cat and mouse, most likely, seeing what they need. I think they're both playing black, and maybe they'd both like to make a draw, but they can't do it yet because, or can't commit to it yet because it's not for sure. Hikaru playing knight c4, trying to imbalance the position here. He's trying to. He's not gonna trade the bishops. I don't think he's gonna trade. I think he's gonna pull his bishop back and play. Okay, he traded. Interesting. Well, anyways, black is better here. I think preferable, I should say, not better, but he's got some ideas on the queen side to gain some space, whereas white doesn't really have anything. The king is well placed on f7. The knight here can get into e5. Hikaru can push this, but the very important factor here is Genghis is playing quickly as well, and we've seen Hikaru really use his time advantages well. And right now, it's pretty balanced in that sense. So the evaluation isn't going to be too strong. On the other hand, Demchenko here is up 30 seconds on Gusenov, but the position to me looks good for black. I actually prefer black here. The reason why I prefer black is I have a great knight on d4, fantastic bishop on e5, and white has, this f6 pawn and good bishop over here, but this bishop on g2 looks locked in. So when I see a move like bishop h6, I'm not even concerned about the exchange, because if the exchange ever was taken, which wasn't allowed here, but if it was ever taken, black would have total dark square domination, and that extra rook is meaningless because there are no open files on the board for the rook to use. You have rook c1, rook c4, which doesn't do anything, so even the exchange isn't very important here. I wasn't sure about rook g8. So now bishop g7. He didn't play bishop g7, but I'm liking black's position here. I think Guseynov has good winning chances. I think he wants to sacrifice the exchange and have total domination on the dark squares. So white isn't going to play bishop g7 unless it's very good. But on the other hand, because white's not going to take the exchange, maybe he is going to find something with his bishop by playing bishop h3, maybe g5 and h5. It looks a bit far-fetched to me though. So I'm still liking Guseynov's position. Board 1, Naka against Perez Ponza. We've transitioned to a rook endgame where Hikaru has the outside passed pawn, A and B against A. Pressure on the center, but nothing winning yet. It's a two-horse race right now as we enter the critical last 2 rounds. And we're just going to constantly check up on board 1 and 2 because whoever wins this, if somebody wins in this round, they might be already the champion of the tournament. 8.5 out of 9 is first place right now. The chasing pack has 7.5. So these players are in control of their destiny. C5 is a... Ooh, C5. Looks like a very nice move. If D5, A4, and he wants to play rook E4. Rook E4. He's waiting for F3 and then he'll play rook E3. So now rook C2. Yes, but this looks like a very, very pleasant endgame for black, especially because you can run your king potentially. Well, first you're going to move it to E5 and then you have an option of moving further into the position or just using a blockade. But either way, black's rook really dictates the position. You might put the rook on A3. This is going in Hikaru's favor. Board 2, how is this going? Well, still looks unclear. White's got that protected passed pawn on B5, 2 bishops, this pawn on F6. Black's got very, very active pieces, a fantastic knight on E6. He's up 10 seconds. I like black's position here. This one is a bit more competitive. This is 3 results. Board 1 is 2 results. Right now, Nakamura in a very favorable position as we enter the time trouble stage of each game. Although in this game, Hikaru's got a minute and a half against 25 seconds. Perez Ponza fighting, surviving so far, but in an extremely passive position. But what's the breakthrough? What's the breakthrough here? King E2? King D4 maybe? Maybe King D4. Rook D2? King D4 looked very attractive to me. Well, Hikaru is using his time advantage. He's not going for a line that white will be able to capture and make easy moves. He's going to keep the tension, keep the possibilities, and try to, again, provoke a blunder. Ten seconds to a minute. Update people. Guseynov has won on board 2. He moves to 9.5 out of 10 and puts a lot of pressure on Hikaru to win this game, which it looks like he is winning. He's got 3 connected pawns against 2, but his king is much more active and his pawns are further down the board. The 2-horse race continues, heading into the final round. Nakamura, Guseynov, 10.5 out of 11. Tremendous scores, already exceeding the winning score that I talked about, because these guys are just rolling everyone down the board. What can you say? And they've already played each other. They drew. So it's about as even as it gets. 10 wins, 1 draw. Sorry, 9 wins and 1. They have 9.5. Sorry, 9.5 out of 10. 1 round to go. So they've already achieved the score, which I said was winning. They're going to exceed it. But it's going to be a tournament. First to 10 wins. 10 wins. But these are much higher scores than I'm used to in Title Tuesday. It's rare to see this sort of dominance. Third place has 8 out of 10. These guys are a point and a half above the field. So that game is over. We're almost at round 11. A few games remaining, but nobody else can catch these guys. It's a 2-horse race. I do play Title Tuesday when I'm not commentating. So next month in April, I expect to play in Title Tuesday. What's up, Gummerzindo and Louis? Louis BT is offering me a beer. I'll definitely take you up on that beer offer. It's midnight here in Sweden, and I'll gladly accept that. Shizo here playing white. Still has a chance to finish in the money if he can win this game. 9 out of 11 will definitely finish with a prize. And it looks like he's on his way to winning this. Yeah, he's up a pawn and a bishop. Thank you, Steve Jobs, kid. Nice move. King takes a5, bishop d2, mate. Wait. That's a free queen. Wait a second, that's a free queen. Hey, where did the queen go? That's a free queen. Oh, man. Black did not see that white just hung his queen, and as a result, Axel Bachmann wins this game with a bluff that really paid off. A very unnecessary bluff. That's called mutual chess blindness, folks. But at least he was winning that game before that blunder, you know. But that was pretty funny. Let's do an instant replay, since that was queen c6 allows queen takes c6, game over. It's a very effective, very quick move to end the game. One player wins immediately. Just depends who. He didn't see it. He moved his king away, and white just realized his mistake and took the queen. Never touch queens. So, anyways. One more game left in this 10th round. And that's we've got a king and bishop against king and rook. Theoretical draw over here. What's up, Coach Forman? Thank you, Russell Reith. Yes, Pro Chess League tomorrow playoffs. I'll be playing. You can watch the. You can watch all the matches on the Twitch, chess.com/TV, or on our channel. The chessbrah channel will be covering our match as well on chessbrah. Yeah. I'm excited to have Fabiano and Li Chao tomorrow. on our team. This game is over, so let's enter the final round. The two leaders, Hikaru Nakamura, 10.5 out of 11. No, 9.5 out of 10. I keep making that mistake. I'm already guessing maybe I'm already guessing the game. But Hikaru has white against Alan Pichot of Argentina, who's on 8 points. The players have already played all their main rivals, so in this specific situation, he's playing down 1.5 points because he's already played Gusenov. And so that's board one. He's playing white. He's playing his usual Larsen. On board two, we have Gusenov, who's also in shared first, playing against Maxim Chagayev from Russia, who's also on 8 out of 11. But the difference here is Gusenov has black, Hikaru has white, and he needs to keep up. I mean, there's a big prize drop off, obviously, between first and second. So if he still wants to win first, he has to assume that Hikaru is going to win with white against a lower rated player. So he's playing a sharp. They're in a sharp Rosalima right now. In my opinion, this looks very good for white. Don't like this pawn. Okay, it's typical in this opening anyways, and black does need to take some risks. In fact, black sometimes even plays g5 and g4, tries to undermine this knight so that he can soften up the e5 square. He's taking necessary risks, I guess. And over here, Hikaru is playing a pretty easy, basic position. He's going to try to put some pressure on the clock. He's not making any mistakes. Hikaru doesn't blunder sometimes. He just plays 2 hours, 3 hours of blitz chess, and he won't make a single glaring mistake. And right now, that's what he's doing. That's when he's in form. He might make small mistakes, but he's always in the game, and the same can't be said about most of his opponents, especially in time trouble. So here he's already, I think, potentially winning material with bishop takes c6, forking the rook and the pawn. He's done that, and okay. There's the material. Double pawns, not the best, but still something. Both, like, we'll see what happens, who finishes first here. Because if Gusenov, he needs to win with black, he might be overpressing his position. If he loses, Hikaru will only need a draw, and he might even just offer a draw. So both players are going to try to stay in the game as long as possible, because that'll keep the other guy guessing. This position still looks very good for white structurally. This is not a good pawn structure. This is not a good bishop. But black is going to free himself up pretty soon. He's getting some counterplay as well. Okay, remember this bishop is pinned, otherwise this knight would hang, but he has some potential in the center over here. Hikaru, on the other hand, is converting. Looks to me like he's converting here, guys. He's undoubled his pawns. He's up a healthy pawn, and he's up 46 seconds. The guy is trucking along like a beast. Every game, he's pushing. He's up on time. He is dictating the flow. H4, covering the back rank, so his rook can, for example, play rook a4 next move without getting mated on c1. The knight will move, and then he'll play b4, followed by b5. And he's done it. I believe Hikaru Nakamura is on his way to winning this game, moving to 10.5 out of 11. He's about to pick off another pawn. That's game over. Really decisive game. A tremendous performance by Hikaru. And then now all the pressure is on Gadir Gusenov, who's kept pace with Hikaru the entire event. He's scored a lot of big wins. He needs to win on demand as black against Maxim Chagayev of Russia, who's battling for third or fourth or fifth place. and still a very good blitz player. So we're going to only watch this game. I have my eye following the other game, but Hikaru's going to win that, I assure you. He's up 2 or 3 pawns at this stage, and a minute. Can Gadir Gusenov equalize with black? Let's flip the board so we see from his perspective. I liked white's position, so I was kind of looking from white's perspective, but let's follow black's journey towards first place. So black really wants to get these pawns rolling down the board. Problem is it weakens the e5 pawn. He had to protect a7 as well. But he's going to play d5. It's just a matter of when. He's preparing it. Okay. Still up for grabs over here. d5 maybe coming up next here. Gadir Gusenov needs to win. And there's no reason for him to settle for a draw, because if he loses this game, he still gets second place. So there's absolutely no risk here to play for a win and go all out. The difference between first and second is a big amount of cash, and he's guaranteed at least second. They're a point and a half clear of the field, which is very rare in a Title Tuesday to have such a big gap. I think the prizes are shared, for those wondering. d4 I'm expecting here. You got to push the pawn at some point. Okay, queen g6. It's a bit iffier. The rook on a7 is great. You got an outside passed a pawn. Gusenov right now is playing solid, playing tight. He doesn't feel the urgency yet. He might be waiting for this to get into the bullet portion where, you know, both sides are going to make mistakes. Because I think he's waiting for white to overpush. White, by the way, has, in a way, more pressure. White has to play for a prize. Gusenov, if he loses, he gets second. If he wins, he ties for first. If white loses, he gets no cash at all. If he draws, he might not get anything. So this is there's actually more pressure on white to maybe overpress here, and that's something. Already starting to like black's position here for bullet. Getting low on time, anything can happen here. Queen takes f5. Queen takes f5. Got to do it. You got rook b1 check after. Rook b1 check. Queen h5. Get the queens off the board and use your connected pass pawns. Gusenov in prime position to win this game. Rook b1 check. Oh. Surprising. Bishop takes e5. No, that was just a blunder. Gusenov. Oof. Oof. There you go. And Fandorin here is about to beat Gadir Gusenov. And that means Hikaru Nakamura wins the tournament. Clear first. 10.5 out of 11. Big result here, because he puts himself in the money as well, tied for third. And props to Gusenov though for going for playing a really good event. Second place. Very steady chess. Lost this game in a time scramble, but was competitive always. So those top 2 spots, and there's going to be a logjam at 3rd place. I'll put another game on as I calculate the standings. With 9 out of 11, Fandorian right now is actually in clear 3rd. So that's actually a big chunk of cash. That's a few $100. It's a couple hundred at least, I think. 3rd place. He's in clear 3rd with 9 out of 11. And can anybody catch him? Nobody can catch him. So top 3, Hikaru Nakamura, USA, 1st place, 10.5 out of 11. Gadir Gusenov, Azerbaijan, 2nd place, 9.5 out of 11. And Maxim Chagayev from Russia, 3rd place, 9 out of 11. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th was 8.5. Gang SK, Demchenko, Yakov, Malik. And then you got a bunch of other people following. But a really, really, really dominant performance by Hikaru, in my opinion. One of his best Title Tuesday performances that I've ever seen. From start to finish. Very clean chess. Loner Druid, I said I think about, I don't know the prizes off the top of my head. But I know it's a few $100. I've never won a prize in Title Tuesdays, so that's why I don't memorize them. They just changed the prize structure last month. If you want to see the leaderboard, the easiest way is to log into the live interface and go to tournaments. But while we're at it, I might be able to pull up something. Let me see. One more game, and then the standings are actually going to pop up automatically. We have Vera Nebelcina here playing. I believe that's Kamsky's wife. I believe that was Kamsky's wife. They're newlyweds. Wife or fiance? If my chess gossip is up to date. Thank you, Ham Honey. Well, I'm just going to wait for the standings to pop up. Thanks to everybody for joining me. April is a very special month because we have 4 Title Tuesdays because they are using Title Tuesday as a qualifier event, kind of like a satellite tournament for the Speed Chess Championships this year, which chess.com is hosting with Magnus, with all the top Bullet and Blitz players in an elimination event. So 4 people can qualify through Title Tuesday, winner of each Title Tuesday. So next month is special. Keep your eye out for that. The rest of this month, there's the Pro Chess League that runs until the very end of the month. If you go to this channel tomorrow, chess.com/TV or twitch.tv/chess or prochessleague.com, you'll be able to watch and find out information on all the games. Live commentary coverage starts tomorrow. I'm going to tell you guys what time it starts actually. It starts at 4 p.m. GMT tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, so 5 p.m. Central European time tomorrow. Be here. Magnus Carlsen is going to be playing for Norway live on this channel. His games will be covered and commentated on. This was the This game is still going on, eh? March Title Tuesday. And Hikaru Nakamura was the story of the event. A really dominant 10.5 out of 11. Didn't get into almost any trouble at all. And very deserved. Very deserved victory for Hikaru. And you're going to see him tomorrow playing in the Pro Chess League playoffs as well on chess.com. There we have final standings, first, second, third, right on the screen. Alright guys, thank you for watching. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm traveling around right now throughout Europe a bit. So you see my Twitter there is Hansen Chess. I post some random things sometimes if you want to watch me stream or follow my activities. Otherwise, yeah, I'll be playing tomorrow as well in the Pro Chess League. So I'll see everybody soon. Thanks for watching the Title Tuesday. There's going to be a report on it coming out maybe tomorrow on chess.com if you want to review some games. Take care, everybody.